Listen, pressure is a privilege, good people. Even in your marriage, right? And the type of pressure we talking about, right? It either busts the pipes or it either makes diamonds, right? But what determines the making of the diamonds is how you respond to that pressure. It's how you walk yourself through that pressure. So in this episode, man, listen, we're going to continue the conversation that me and Dr. Ford had on Soul Truth Sunday, right? Pressure is a privilege. So welcome back to the Married Life Live Edition, good people. This is the Married Life Podcast, where we slow things down, right? Recognize our patterns within ourselves and our relationship, right? Right? Regulate our bodies through those emotions, get a new revelation, build a rhythm around that revelation, and put it on repeat mode so we can do what, babe?
Fly.
Yeah, so we can fly together, so we can dare to be you. So listen, man, I'm excited about this episode, man.
Yes.
Excited about continuing the conversation about pressure is a privilege, good people. So listen, man, at any point during this live, this is a live Q&A. Drop your questions below. We want to hear from you. You don't have to wait till the end of the Q&A to drop your questions. And it might not even be a question. You might have a statement. You might have something that resonated with you. Drop it. Because listen, you can help somebody else in the community, right? So listen, man, before we get started, listen, this is our first sponsor plug right here. I got to give a shout out to our first sponsor, Hands to Guide You, Mental Behavioral Health, and Dr. Larry Ford. So listen, if you're looking for counseling, behavioral health, evaluations, ADHD evaluations, neurofeedback evaluations, brain mapping, or trauma-informed care, visit h2gy.com. Their mission is simple, good people, to improve the way the world experiences healthcare. Check them out. I'm gonna attach the link to their YouTube page below. So for more nervous system information, for more brain information, tap in. You ready, babe? Okay, let's get into it. Now we get ready to tap in, good people. Y'all welcome. I see somebody join the live. Welcome, tap in. All right, so let's just get right into it, babe. Let's just get right into it. This first part I want to talk about, you know, I'm a note taker. You know, I'm
Got your notes, baby.
So listen. This first part I want to talk about is what pressure has really revealed in us. You know, we've been doing a series, The Four Legs of Life. Y'all go check that out on Soul Truth Sunday. You know, we've been doing that series. Me and Dr. Ford just did an episode about pressure as a privilege. So we always want to spin off on those to show you what that really looks like in a relationship. Welcome. I see somebody else join. So every time I do an episode on Soul Truth Sunday, we always want to spin off on that to show you what that really looks like in a relationship, the nervous system. It's one thing to be able to do it individually.
Right.
But then when you got somebody else.
Another person there while you trying to resolve whatever your issue is.
Yeah, yes, sir. So yeah, man, that's what we want to get to. So what did the pattern reveal in us is what we want to talk about over 27 years worth of, information. So I always say this, the pattern is not, or the pressure is not the problem, right? It just reveals the pattern. Yeah. So the first question is, what pattern did pressure reveal in us, right? Or what was our most pressure moments? That was the real question. So what was our biggest pressure moment? Can you really think about or you want me to start?
I mean, you can start.
Okay, so listen, I'll put down one of our biggest pressure moments that I can remember today. Like I said, man, we've been married 27 years, was our Florida experience. Now, y'all heard us talk about this on other videos, but that was a huge pressure moment for us because it sent our nervous system into dysregulation, not just for a small period of time, for some years, right? So what we figured out during that time, what I did is that it wasn't necessarily the pressure, it was the stories that I was attaching to the pressures. What I was telling myself, right? Because watch this. I felt like a failure, right? Because I attached my identity to results during that time, right? So I wrote this down, right? So when we was living in Florida, we was doing like $7K a month. Man, I really want y'all to hear this story, right? We was doing like $7K a month in Florida. But for us, the way we had been accustomed to making money, right? The way we had been accustomed to our own businesses and different things to that nature, 7K in Florida, number one, it wasn't enough, and it wasn't what we was used to, but it wasn't enough. So you know what our nervous system learned during that time? It learned that no matter what we did, it still wouldn't be enough. That was the story, right? That was the story that was attached to the pressure. That wasn't necessarily true, right, babe?
Right.
It was the story. So for me, that was one of the biggest pressure moments that I really had to talk myself through. That whole Florida experience, good people, working 60 hours a week,
That was a booger.
Ubering. Yeah, you know, and I want to get wifey's viewpoint on that. Would you say that was the biggest pressure moment for us as a couple, but for you individually,
I mean,
us as a couple?
I mean, that was definitely one of them.
One of them, yeah, man.
I mean, I think Dallas is kind of up there with it, but yeah.
Dallas, yeah, the two moves when we moved
Yeah.
cross state was
Yes.
probably the two biggest.
Mhm.
See, I would deem probably Florida the biggest because Dallas, we was able to climb out of that fairly quickly when we moved back.
Well, yeah.
Florida lasted damn near 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to somebody else that joined. So listen, so just talk about your experience, the pressure that you felt, because during that time, the pressure that I felt was I felt disappointed, right? I felt like I had let the family down because when we moved, we lost that 40K.
Mm-hmm.
I was dysregulated, so my perspectives collapsed. Looking back on it, we shouldn't have moved. You know what I'm saying? Once we lost that 40K. So, you see why so for me, I felt disappointed. I felt like I was behind. As an entrepreneur, the type of person that I am, high achiever, I've attached results to my identity for so long until I start untangling that. So those are some of the pressures that I felt. So some of the pressures that you felt during that time, just talk about that.
I mean, I probably didn't see it quite like you. I was like more like in the moment, like in panic mode a lot of times.
So that was the pattern showing up for you.
For me, it was constantly going in and out of a panic mode, like stress, just the pressure from, you know, are we going to make enough? Are we going to make enough? I mean, just I felt like every week it was the same thing.
Yeah.
There were glimpses, you know, a few times where it wasn't as much pressure. But overall, that was crazy.
That was crazy. So the panic, you mentioned panic. So what was the story behind the pressure? Because like we always say, it's never the pressure. Pressure is a part of life. Pressure is how you grow in life. Pressure is a part of creation. Pressure is a part of expansion. So what part of that story was you telling yourself to make you panic?
Just constantly the worry about, are we going to make enough to pay our bills?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not even that I went so far as thinking we're going to be homeless. I didn't really necessarily think that, but it was just like the constant need to feel like we're making enough money to survive in the moment.
Survival mode. Yeah. So like what wifey's saying, because our financial thermostat was set on a certain amount of people. You hear me talk about this all the time. Financial thermostat or just any type of thermostat in life, right? So once you set your thermostat to something, this is how the nervous system to go above that, it's gonna pull you right back down. The thing, just like a thermostat on your wall right now, that's controlling your AC, right? If you set it for 75 and the room gets above 75, what happens to the thermostat? It kicks on and cools the room back off. Right. But here's the thing about a thermostat. It'll never let you get above what it's set on, but it'll damn sure let you get beneath it. You see? So that's what happened to us in Florida. Our thermostat was set on a certain amount of money because we've been entrepreneurs our whole life. We've only had 2 jobs our whole working life. And so it got set on a certain thing. And Florida kicked that thing way low. So it was panic mode. It was stress mode. But we had to learn how to work ourselves and walk ourselves through all of this pressure while still providing, right? While still being a man. And attaching and understanding that part of my responsibility as a man is provision, right? Protection, right? So for me, that's what Florida did to my nervous system a lot. It made me feel like I was less than. Any men out there know what I'm talking about, right? And like I said, I want you to hear this. He was making 7 bands a month. To some people, they be like, bringing home 7 bands, boy, that's great money.
Right.
Man, we was drowning down there, right? But it wasn't the pressure. Guess what? It was the stories attached to it. Okay.
Those stories are a booger.
Yeah, that was a book. So before we get to the next part, I already said it, good people. I'm gonna say it again. Pressure reveals the pattern. It doesn't create it.
Yeah.
Right? Pressure just revealed what was already in our nervous system with money. It didn't create those patterns.
No.
It just revealed it. Like I said, pressure either busts pipes or it makes diamonds, depending on the material that the pressure's being applied
I
to.
want some diamonds, baby. Give me
What you
diamonds.
say?
Give
What
me
you?
some diamonds.
Okay. Now let's just talk about this second part right now. Segment 2, we want to talk about pressure doesn't actually hurt your relationship. You know what does? The patterns hurt the relationship. So the stories, the pattern. So this is what I want to ask. When pressure shows up, what usually causes the conflict? So meaning like in our relationship, when I feel pressure, right? And pressure comes out in all kind of different ways. It can come out in grief. It can come out in uncertainty. It can come out in pain. You know, I mean, pressure comes out. Health, yeah. So when pressure shows up, what usually causes the conflict? For me, what causes that conflict? The story, good people.
Man, the stories are a booger.
The story, right? I just told y'all a previous story about a deal that didn't come through in our cannabis business, right? The story I told myself made that conversation difficult. And guess what? I didn't even have the conversation yet, right? Before I even got to wifey, right? So the story, man, she ain't gonna understand. She gonna be disappointed. Man, she gonna think I'm this. Man, she gonna think. Do that sound familiar? Or that's just okay, that just might be it. So listen, when pressure shows up for you, what usually causes the conflict for you? For me, it's the story of you gonna be disappointed, but I'm saying go into the story. Like my stories are you gonna be disappointed, you know, you gonna think I'm failing, or you know, you gonna think I'm not providing, or like those are the stories I tell myself. What are some of the stories you tell yourself that cause the conflict?
To me, it's like the stories of I don't know how to say it because I want to say it the right way, but I might not say it the right way. The stories of feeling like, you know, always thinking great things are coming, and then when it doesn't happen, then I'm like, oh yeah, there it goes again. That's what happened before. So here we are again in that same position. You know, to me, that's my story. That is like just on repeat. You know? And just for me, the story is I've always struggled to believe in myself, first of all. So that story is always prominent in my head. Believing in myself, in turn, you know, what you think about yourself, you project. So I project onto you. I project onto the kids. You know, that story, you know, that I'm telling myself that if I'm not good enough, why should I think he's good enough? But not because he's not, just because that's the struggle I have internally with myself. So I project it out onto you.
That's real, babe. That's real. Hey, she giving y'all the sauce, good people. Hey, them stories.
Man.
Them stories. You got to separate the story from the fact. So listen, I wrote this down before. Look, before we get to our next part, look what I wrote down. This the soul truth I want you to hear before we go to the next part. Facts and stories are not the same, good people. No. You got to ground your nervous system in facts. What really is happening right now in real time, not the story that you attach to it, because the story is what's causing the conflict. Right? Most arguments, you hear me say this, I said this and then we're going to move on. Most arguments in marriages, and I can say all of our arguments, let's say all of our arguments in this marriage over 27 years haven't been between me and my wife. You know what it's been between? You know what it's been between? It's been between two nervous system stories. That's what it's been between. She's telling the story, I'm telling the story.
They collide.
And then they collide. So listen, this part 3, man. This part 3 right here, segment 3, we want to talk about emotional safety under pressure. Ooh, this is a big one right here. So So this is the question I got for you. I'm gonna let you start this one.
Okay.
What helps you feel emotionally safe when life starts lifing and you start feeling uncertainty? When you really start feeling uncertainty, fear, doubt, what helps you feel emotionally safe?
Um, well, kind of the things kind of like you say, I just have to ground myself in what is true and not true. I
Mhm.
have to separate the story in my head from reality. Reality may seem like the story in my head, but if I really take a look at it, that's not what's really happening. The story
Yeah,
in my head is not really happening.
yeah,
But I just have to ground myself in, like, okay, talk to myself. What in the world? I will admit I'm not great at this because sometimes it goes on for a little too long. That little story in my head just, woo, it just keeps
yeah.
going and going and going, and it don't want to shut
That's
off.
why she got me, good people. We
it
balance each other
it
out.
don't want to
We
shut off
balance
some
each other
days.
out.
And so, I just have to, and again, I like to listen to things on YouTube, just things that take my mind off of the worry and the stress or whatever it is, the story that's going on in my head.
Yeah,
I need to kind of pull myself out of that. I've got to, like, listen to something that kind of like may trigger a different thought in my
yeah,
head.
yeah. I like that. I like that. I like that. Emotional safety is important, especially in a long-term relationship, but any relationship.
Right.
So kind of what I do, y'all have heard me walk you through the processes that I do. I'm just always doing a lot of breath work, man. I'm always asking myself deeper questions. Wifey will tell you, she's like, do your brain ever cut off? Do your brain? I'm always
Always.
asking myself deeper questions
Mhm.
about myself to get the most out of myself, right? So how do I feel emotionally safe? By grounding myself in the facts, like Wifey said.
Mhm.
I've learned over the years
Yeah.
that the story be lying to me, good people. That
Story.
damn
Woo.
story ain't true. That story is attached to a nervous system experience, right?
Right.
So watch this. So emotional safety, your partner, you in 2026, you trying to have a conversation with your partner, right? You didn't already attach the story to it from 5 years ago when you had an emotional conversation with your partner, and maybe that didn't go too well, right? But now it's 5 years later.
Right.
Now this ain't that. Now you trying to come to your partner, you're already preparing for the worst. Oh, she gonna do what she did 5 years ago.
Right.
You see what I'm? So how I ground myself in the truth that gives me that emotional safety. She ain't done that in 10 years. You don't have to tell myself that. She ain't reacted like that in 10 years. She ground yourself in the facts. So that's how I kind of ground myself in the facts. I separate, stories from facts. So this is the part I want you to see, how the conversation changes depends on what story you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
Ooh, we good people. The conversation changes depends on what story you're telling yourself, right? If you want the conversation to go in a direction that it needs to go, in a safe direction, then you got to drop the stories, good people. Them stories gonna have you bottled up. Them stories gonna have, hey, you gotta drop the story. And like I said, anytime doing this is a live Q&A. You got a statement, question, drop it. You don't have to wait to the end. All right, babe. All right, let's get to part 4. So what patterns show up first for you? We gonna kind of get through this. We kind of already touched this. You said panic, different things. So when pressure really hits, just name some of the patterns that kind of panic, and what else?
Worry, the panic, like all of those to me kind of all go together, but it's just like,
is it more so like uncertainty?
Oh, definitely uncertainty.
Like, is it more so like self-doubt, or you're like doubting the whole situation, like a relationship?
Well, it starts with self-doubt first and foremost, and then that just bleeds over. Not doubt about our relationship, but doubt about what we have going on, what we're trying to do. I mean, for me, because just that struggle from probably childhood of not really believing in myself. So I mean, that's just not how I.
No, I got you. Yeah, man, that's the same thing. Like I wrote down here, patterns show up first. Like she said, for me, mine is urgency, right? Like I try to dig in more because part of being a high achiever. So like when pressure hits me, my only motor is do more. And sometimes doing more ain't the answer, good people, right? So like that's what shows up for me. Urgency shows up, isolation shows up for me sometimes. So I had to learn how to kind of isolate when I need to, but then don't isolate too much to where it causes us to disconnect, right? Isolate to regulate and then come together. So those are some of the patterns. I don't necessarily get critical of myself. That's not a pattern. Like wifey's pattern is probably more so critical, judging herself. I don't necessarily do that. Like I said, mine is just urgency. Got to do more, got to do more. Because I feel like I used to feel like if something didn't go well in our life, then I wasn't doing something. It never dawned on me like, oh, that could just be the process. Oh, you just ain't far along enough in the process. I used to always, I guess that is being critical of myself. So that is a form of, criticism. I used to attack myself like, you got to do more. You ain't done enough. So that's kind of like what shows up with us. And then like the shift we really had to make. And then look, man, we about to get up out of here. So what patterns are we intentionally putting in place right now? The shift that we had to make. We talked about the old patterns, where the story tells us the worst case scenario, where we start doubting in fear. But the new patterns now were what? We pausing, right, telling ourselves to. So just talk about that shift and what you've seen, how we've put in these new patterns and kind of what you've seen, the results from that.
I mean, for me, obviously it makes you feel better, number one.
Yeah.
It takes away that story. If you can get yourself into that place to where you've calmed yourself, you've basically reassured yourself, you're doing what you need to do, you're headed in the right direction. The disappointment probably is one of the things that for me, I'm still learning how to not go there instantly. Again, I'm the pessimist. I see things negatively, so that's something that's probably even harder for me to work on, because I gotta go through those things to get to a better place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I have to remind myself, okay, don't let your pessimist side come out. This is what is going on right now. The truth is this, and then again, just listening to things that kind of take away what I'm feeling.
Yeah. I like that. So based off our new patterns, like she said, I pause way more than I ever have now. She'll tell you. I pause. I've always been a communicator. That's my gift. So I talk. Just talk to me. Just talk.
You need us talk.
I'm the communicator. Yeah. Okay. But the biggest thing for me is just been grounding myself in facts. I can't say that enough. That's been the biggest shift. It's just separating the story, because it was a time in my life where the story and the facts was blurred, right? And it was really more so a story than facts. It was a stretch, especially during that Florida experience and all that stuff. And so untangling my soul and untangling my nervous system from the story has been the biggest new pattern that we've put in place. Right. Is just constantly, just like when we got the disappointment, with the deal didn't come through with the cannabis deal. It was a huge deal. Instead of just telling myself the story, see, it always happened. I just know the facts is the deal is still gonna happen. Just got delayed, just got pushed back. I gave myself the facts about that whole story, right? About that whole situation, right? And guess what happened? When I gave myself the facts, it grounded me. I went on, right? It took the pressure that I was putting on myself from the story and eliminated that. Because you can't eliminate pressure, feeling overwhelmed, fear, doubt. That's all part of life. But how you walk yourself through it, man, that's what matters, good people. So listen, man. Listen, drop your questions. Listen, we about to wrap this up. If it ain't no questions, so listen. Drop pattern in the comment, man. If you noticing some patterns under pressure that you don't like, if you noticing some patterns that are surfacing, when you feeling overwhelmed and fearful, drop pattern in the comment. Join the conversation, man. Let us know. We want to help. You could help somebody else with your statement or with your comment below. So, and listen, this is why I create all my products here, people. We talk about patterns. My products help you recognize those patterns. The 6 word pattern. Shout out to my boy right there, baby. Yes, sir. Pattern, baby. Pattern. That's what I'm talking about. But listen, man, that's what my products do, though. My products help you walk yourself through those outdated patterns. The 6-part audio series plus workbook, my 21-day money reset regulation, right? It retrains your nervous system from those outdated patterns. Click that link. And when, you know what else? Another pattern, entrepreneurship, right? Our boys, right, just started their business Shopify store. Link is in the bio. They got their own designs. That's a pattern for me, right, that I've learned over the years, entrepreneurial, right? So that's a pattern for me. Like I said, when things get pressure around money, she'll tell you, what's my first thought? Pattern. Let's go create something, right? So entrepreneur is a pattern. So that Shopify link, it ain't just something that you buy. That's our boy's first business because we passing down that pattern. So listen, good people, man, if you ain't got no more comments or questions or whatever, and like I said, comment pattern if you ready to break it and click that link. So anything else you want to say, babe?
I have nothing.
Man, listen, good people, every Tuesday, a brand new episode of The Married Life drops. Every Sunday, a brand new episode of Soul True Sunday podcast drops, right? And then the Dirty Be You podcast starts in August, every Friday, 7 p.m. We building this media network, baby, and we taking you with us, right? We got 3 TV shows right now that we building, and we taking you with us. So tap in. So anything else? That's it. Wifey always say that's my preacher in me. Man, shout out to my boy. Hey, listen, man, that's one of my childhood friends right there, man. Shout out to them Pratchett boys, baby. Yes, sir. Listen, good people, it means a lot to me, man, when the people that you grow up with can tap in with you, right? And can comment on the shows and say something, right? Because that says a lot. Because they didn't see me in my good, bad, and ugly. They know this is what I do, baby. So shout out to my boy. So listen, if it ain't nothing else, it's same bad channel, same bad time, baby. This the Married Life. I'm FL. It's my boo thing.
Chandra.
And we out, baby. Dare to be you. Happy Tuesday.